Welcome you all to Coffee Time with Madison, Christine. All right, you all, I got fire in my pants again, and this is a topic near and dear to my heart. You've heard me speak to it a few times before in past YouTubes, and it's an exploration that I'm doing as a woman, as a human being, in my own personal life, and also in what I've seen with clients and just friends and in this world and other women I've spoken with. And this is that topic around the insecurities, the deep insecurities around image and how fucking deep it can go. And it's almost like I'm trying to locate the source, because the more I unravel my own journey around it, I am in awe of the depths of this one. My heart has been broken a million times over for others that have taken their lives around it. This topic has become so deep that the toxicity that we have on media around what beauty is portrayed as, even the whole sex industry, all of these things are contributing to a very, very toxic, disturbed, confusing concept of self. Because we're not getting a mirror back. So of course, what does that do? That makes us responsible to locate within ourselves what's true and what's not, what's beautiful, what's not. So remember, when you hear me, track your own truth, track your own spirit, track what works for you and what doesn't, you toss. So this topic, like I said, it runs so deep that this morning I was writing more and something else came up. Like a detective right now, and I'm really want to get the bottom of it, because we have our personal stories, we have our histories. Like myself, I come from sexual trauma, so that's been years of unwinding of what's me versus what was the wiring from my history versus the wiring in our world. So it's getting to the point where women are cutting themselves up. And those of us that have been really strong about aging gracefully and all this stuff, I'm not gonna lie, like as I age, there's just moments where it's a freak out, it's a terror. And that's linked to what voice? To the voice that has in our world been trying to take over. And I feel that there is another source this comes from. It's historical. And there's some source, because how can we take this whole image thing so seriously that we take our lives, that we cut ourselves up? That is called, to me, separation. And I'm going to use the word darkness, not to get too weird about it, but there is a darkness to it, I feel and believe. And again, you decide what you decide. That anything that contributes to death, to killing, cutting of self, to me becomes murderous, and it needs to be investigated. And as you all know, I'm an investigator in the psychological world on these things. So when things are getting to places where we go out into the world and there's competition, there's comparison, there's jealousy, there's insecurity, there's killing over this kind of stuff. The one that I want to pinpoint the most is our own violence on ourselves. And when we listen to these voices that say we're not good enough, or we're hanging around people that will only be with someone who looks a certain way, that is dangerous. Because our true self is our spirit, our love, our heart, whatever words you want to put to this. It's our energy. How sad is it that even as women that are aging, that it has to be so terrifying? When we look in nature, life and death, it's all part of this experience. So I'm humbly in this with you all. And you might look at me and go, well, you're a white girl, blonde hair, this, that. How can, why would you have issues? And the reality is, you guys, is it goes so much deeper than that. Oh my God, the layers that I'm unwinding in my own life, personally and collectively. I don't even know how to tell you how deep it goes. But I think if you're listening and you're keyed in, we've all had tears over it. We've all had thoughts and God knows what. And you guys, the voices in our heads and the voices that we're radaring are getting fucking violent. We've got to be careful right now. Every single one of us. It's big. I speak with like like a tear in my throat. It is so intense right now. This is like a Star Wars situation. So my encouragement, if you're someone wanting to not be taken down by this darkness, is to really pay attention to those voices, write them down, rip them up, and ask, is this love talking to me? Is this how I would want a lover or a friend or a sister? Is this how they see me? Is this how I would see them? Like, really look at those. And remember, that's the small version. That is not who you are. Who are you really? We gotta freaking pull our straps up and like do this work. I know I get rampant in my journal when stuff comes up for me. And I just went through a phase of deep insecurity, stuff I did not even know existed. You know, now I'm in Florida and more exposure is happening and it's getting out a whole other layer. And I'm so grateful to myself for sticking to it and letting all that stuff go. It's gonna be terrifying. So let's just suss out what is toxic, what is hurting you, what is causing you to feel like you have to change yourself. And again, if anyone's watching this to have compassion, empathy, there's not judgment. This is just, what can we do to not stay in victimhood and to not believe those lies and to stop comparing ourselves and to truly stand up and really be in what is a loving experience of each other, of ourselves. If you're having trouble loving yourself, put your love, maybe you have an animal, you have a sister, a friend, start there. That can help if it feels so resistant to start with self. So what's going on in your thought process? Check those out. How would you treat a child? How would you treat someone close to you? Right? Anyone I love, I'd be like, stop. We have to stop these voices. So I'm doing that for myself. And may you please suss those out for yourself. Let's just cheers to really loving and being kind to ourselves. Thank you for listening. It's MadisonChristine.net for one-on-ones. And thank you for being with me, and I'll meet you all on the flip.